All right, what's going on, you guys? Sorry for the late video this afternoon. Just doing some errands around the house and getting around to it and checking out, obviously Google, AMD, QQQ for tomorrow. Probably some type of play should be in store for PayPal tomorrow. Noticing the dip here. So just kind of give you guys a recap of the day. QQQ is up, SPY is up. Tech is running pretty well here in the after hours. It's exactly 8 p.m. right now, just closed. And definitely was expected in terms of the earnings today. I definitely had a good feeling, good vibe that, buying Google and AMD was a good thing to do. And it turned out to be a wise decision so far. AMD is up at $129. Google is literally $17 away from all-time highs at this point. So let's go ahead and take a look at the charts here on especially QQQ and back couple at least a week ago, I've been talking about this wave 4 bounce. So I still think it's somewhat in play at this point. So we got wave 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. It could go lower, but by the way things look right now, definitely a little less likely. QQQ has officially closed above the moving average 200 here in the after hours. I definitely expect some type of flushes tomorrow. So we'll take a look at the levels in a little bit here. But definitely, I mean, you got a green hammer on the day as far as regular candles go. And then if I move to the Ashi candles, these are very convincing candles for a reversal because of what tech and the earnings that came out today. So I expect that this would be a push, but past the moving average 200, now I'm thinking, okay, is it going to run to all-time highs? Is February going to be a great time for the markets and indices? And then we have rates hiking up in March. It doesn't add up, so I'm just still going to be very, very cautious going into the rest of this month and into this week. I mean, because this morning we saw. If I'm looking at the 5-minute chart here, we saw that, I mean, while it was moving up in the pre-market, it fell pretty violently down to like 359 area and then jumped back up. Did a little wedge here throughout most of the day. This is very choppy areas. But what I noticed that throughout most of the day, it held the moving average 200 very well until some type of manipulation was being played on the 5-minute chart. And that's why I held the calls and ended up selling for profit towards the bell. As far as as a QQQ goes, I definitely think that for the most part there is some type of reversal. I'm just not convinced of it just yet. I would have to say 370 above closing price tomorrow should be a good enough indicator for reversal. And then you may not even experience wild swings of any. It might be a gradual type of melt up. It won't be big swings like the ATR is calming down a little bit. You can see that ATR on the daily hit over $10. So therefore, I think the value needs to come down, and therefore you have a more steady market versus a crazy volatile market, which is good, right? So anyway, so QQ is on watch tomorrow. Let's go ahead and talk about Amazon. Amazon does have earnings on Thursday as well, and moving past 3,000 here in the after hours definitely looks great on the charts. I'm definitely looking at that $3,100 mark now. I won't be playing Amazon until Thursday to see if we get a same type of move, or hey, will they split their stock? Because that's the rumors right now that's kind of flying around, is that Amazon may split their stock as well. Let's talk about AMD. Great play here. We bought in the during market hours. I bought it around here because I definitely liked the fact that it was consolidating very well. And of course, Q took a little bit of dip and I held through it, no big deal. And it quickly jumped up and now we're at 129. So a lot of manipulation in the markets. I think some of the whale money or whales or insiders even knew what's happening, or at least the MMs did. And they try to shake out some calls earlier this afternoon. Now let's hop over to PayPal. They did miss by a penny, like literally a penny. And the stock is down over $30-$40 here in the aftermarket. So if I were to look at how this chart's going to play out, they're going to gap down probably to, let's just say, 140 area. And this is going to be really interesting because you have a gap down here from 139 all the way to 129. So I think if PayPal continues to sink tomorrow, you can expect this gap down here to get filled. But if it holds this 140 level, there is support at 138. Let's just say there's support at 138. But if that fails, you're looking at a pretty steep 12-point gap down here for PayPal. So I'll be watching this for a possible play tomorrow. AMD did well. And so with that being said, let's go ahead and go to the cheat sheet area here. Let me go ahead and stop my screen, share. All right, just give me a second here before hopefully the video doesn't cut out. Okay, let's talk about AMD here. We'll do that first thing. Now, I do expect, obviously, some type of flushing, some type of move downwards at the bell. There is a support here at 125.29. If that holds, I might be tempted to hold it a little bit longer. I think we will gap up a little bit and then come back down towards the bell. 134 is a resistance. If you're looking to play AMD after 134, there is a lot of room up north. So AMD does look pretty good tomorrow. Let's go to QQQ. On the 5-minute chart, 370 is the area where I'm watching for. We're obviously above the moving average 200. 371 is a resistance, 373. After that, I'm just going to buy calls because this literally will continue to melt up. If it flushes, then we're looking at a buy area for calls. I don't have any position right now, 365.95. There's going to be some support at 364.61. And of course, some of the lows today, 361.38, and I don't see QQQ coming back down here, but 358.86 is another great opportunity to buy. If you notice the blue line on my chart here, I'm using moving average 200 as on the 5-minute chart, and you can see the buys today that I did was above the moving average 200. When it started dipping under 200, I knew something fishy was going on, so I didn't sell here. But I started buying puts earlier this morning when it moved below the moving average 200. Those are always good, more safer plays versus you buy and try to, nail a put up here, which you would have done well. However, you don't know if that thing's going to reverse. So this morning I was chatting with you guys in the groups that moving average 200 is a big indicator on the minute charts to help you, buy puts and buy calls. So that's the QQQ for tomorrow. Once again, we'll look into PayPal, 144.30 at the closing. If it breaks below that, you're looking at gap fill into tomorrow. So that might be a potential play tomorrow. If it spikes, I would probably put it back down. But it all really depends on how, overnight markets go and the futures go. Let's talk about SPY real quick. SPY, you're going to have let's see, a support here at approximately 450, 451. All right, you have some support obviously down here at lows of the day, which is 447 area. So keep an eye out for that. That's a potential play. Keep an eye out for this moving average 200, which is 450.95. It does definitely like to test these areas, but above these levels, okay. Let's see if I can grab this one here. You have a resistance approximately for 57 area. So looks like we may even gap up into this resistance here in the morning. So just be careful tomorrow. It's probably going to be a volatile day depending on how tech runs and how the market reacts to the great news on Google. And Amazon might even see a run, right? But this is a resistance. If it breaks this resistance, yeah, just buy calls. But if it holds this line, buy calls. If it holds MA200, buy calls. But if it fails these lines, buy puts. All right. So with that being said,